What's cooking in the kitchen today? Good morning, everybody. My name is Deb, and I am from Just Do Something Homestead. And today I'm going to show you a very easy, quick recipe for a hearty meal that cooks all day and is ready for you at dinner time. Come along as we watch how to make a chuck roast in the crock pot. I love using my crock pot. There are so many reasons. The first one is it's convenient. I can get up early in the morning, throw all the ingredients into my crock pot, and when I come home in the evening, it is ready to eat. So convenience is the number one reason why I use our crock pot. The second one is cleanup, and I like to use these slow cooker liners. And by doing that, I just take the liner, I put it into the crock pot, and everything goes into the bag. When we are finished eating our meal tonight, whatever is left over, I just pull the bag out and put it in a bowl and stick it in a refrigerator. The crock pot is clean. I didn't dirty up any dishes as if I was making something with a pan on the stove. It's convenient, it's easy to clean, but the main reason, it is delicious. There are so many recipes, and what it does to your meat, it tenderizes it, it falls off the bone, it blends all the flavors, and the crock pot is one of my best friends. And so today we're going to be putting in a chuck roast. This is my daughter Jenny's favorite meal. The first ingredient I'm going to add to our crock pot is a chuck roast. And we purchased half a beef a little less than a year ago. And so this one has a bone in. You can use them with bones. You can use them boneless. And this one's pretty large. It's going to fill the whole thing. I have thawed it in the refrigerator overnight, so it is all ready to go. If it was a smaller one, I have put them in frozen and they have cooked just fine. But this one is thawed completely. So that goes in the bottom of the crock pot. Now, most of them have a piece of paper in there protecting the roast from poking the bag with the bones. So you're going to want to make sure you get that off. Do not cook with any of these additional papers and things on them. Just like that. Take all that off. And then the roast, once it is completely cleared, goes on the bottom of the crock pot. And that definitely fills the entire bottom. Sometimes I put the roast on top of the vegetables and I fill the entire bottom with the vegetables, and lastly I put the roast on top. But since this roast was so large, I wanted to make sure I could fit the vegetables in on top. So the roast is down on the bottom, and now I'm going to start peeling and cutting up vegetables. I'm going to start with potatoes. So I'll be peeling these and quartering them, or even a little bit smaller. Today I'm going to use 4 Yukon Gold potatoes. I will be peeling each one and then cutting them into smaller pieces. I have peeled and cut up all the potatoes. Some of them, the smaller ones, I quartered. The larger ones I quartered and then I cut them in half again. So we're going to dump this on top of the roast just like that. Next, I'm going to peel and cut up 2 large carrots. I choose to buy the real carrots instead of the baby ones. But baby carrots I have used in the past. It's whatever works for your family. This is when I really miss having my rabbits. Those rabbits would have loved all of these peels from the carrots. But I will put them in my compost. I make sure I always have a compost bin available. That way, when I'm cutting up something, I can stick it in the bucket and take it out to the compost, which will in turn become soil. I'm going to cut each of these carrots into little coin-shaped pieces. You can either cut it on the angle, that gives you a little bit more flavor, or you can just simply cut them straight up and down. I now add these into the crock pot on top of the potatoes. Just like that. Now, typically I add celery at this point. I am all out of celery and I'm trying real hard not to go to the grocery store for anything. So until I grow some celery, we're not going to have any. So we're going to go straight on to the onion. I'm adding one entire yellow onion to the top of the crock pot. First, I'm going to peel it and then I'm going to chop it. When I chop just one onion, typically I just use a knife. That way the cleanup is easier. If I'm doing multiple ones, that is when I would indeed use a food chopper or processor. But for this, it was just easier to use a knife. Easier cleanup. And the onions go right on top. I'm going to add 3 cloves of fresh garlic. I found what's easiest for me is to cut off the tip and the root system on the garlic and then peel it. That way when I put it into the garlic press, it all comes out. So I'm going to go peel, chop off both ends and put it through the garlic press. To use my garlic press, I'm going to put the cloves in there. I'm going to shut it. And then over my crock pot, down here is where it's going to come out. I'm going to squeeze the garlic out. Ooh, and that's looking like good garlic. Look how thick, I can show you, how thick and juicy that garlic is. It's time to add some spices to my pot roast, and I'm going to start with the basics and sprinkle on some salt. This is fine Himalayan salt. I'm going to add some ground pepper. Now, you're going to add whatever spices your family likes. It is completely up to you. The last thing I like to do is add a packet of onion soup mix. And I think that just fills in the rest of the flavors. There we go. And sprinkle that on top. Yes, it has more onions, but it also has the flavors. Just like that. The crock pot is completely full. On the bottom I have the meat, then I have carrots, onions, and potatoes, and I have topped it off with garlic, spices, and a pack of onion soup mix. Some people choose to add water or broth at this point. I do not. I think that it creates enough juices naturally, and I like that it forms a little crust on the meat as well, and so I do not add any liquid. I'm going to be cooking this all day on high. So if it starts to get to the point where it looks like it is cooking a little too fast, I can turn it down. But in my experience, all day on high for a crock pot this full is probably about right. Now at this point, it looks like, well, how are the juices going to get in there? When you put on the lid, which I'll do right now, when you put on the lid, it's going to take and make all those juices and they're going to bubble up around the roast. I will stir this, every few hours, but other than that, it is just going to marinate the food and it's going to be wonderful. And here we have it. The pot roast is done. Now, I didn't mention, don't peek when your crock pot is cooking. Ooh, look at that. So I have left that lid on the entire time. All I need to do now is just stir it up and it is going to be fantastic. Oh yes, look at that meat. It has fallen off the bone. Right there is one of the bones. This looks amazing. So thank you so much for joining us and have a great day. If this video was helpful, encouraging, please share, subscribe, and like. And thank you so much for everything. And have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.